So I wanted to make this video in response to all the stuff that's been happening with with the Ferguson and the Michael Brown um, and the Garner situation. Um, and I wanted to remind the people of two things, two main things. Um, the first thing is to act with purpose. You know, be intentional, be strategic. Um, that energy that you feel from the sense of injustice needs to be expressed, um, and just make sure to express it in a strategic way. And I'll dig a little bit deeper in that in a second. The second thing I wanted to remind the people is that this type of injustice is the standard. This type of injustice happens every day to millions of people, in many different ways. You done in through many used done through many different mechanisms. Um, this country is founded and sustains itself on certain kinds of exploitation and injustice, um, especially dealing with racism, of course, with sexism, of course, and obviously with classism. Um, so just as outraged as you are at these recent acts, belligerent acts, on the case, but perpetrated by the criminal injustice system, have that same level of outrage for all this other stuff going on out here. This is we exploitation, murder outright, or things that are equivalent to murder, as far as killing people through lack of opportunity or not allowing access to certain resources. That's kind of like a lifelong sentence because you put like a ceiling on people. Um, so there are all these things happening on a consistent basis. Okay, so what are the solutions? Some solutions, potential solutions. We want to think long term. We want to think permanent, sustainable change. Um, and so all that means is so many people want to give their time and energy as a response to what they feel is an injustice. Really come together and figure out what you want, figure out who can give it to you, and then channel your energy in a strategic, intentional way to have that result come about. What is the end game? What is the end game you're trying to accomplish? Um, if we want to do something economically, the boycott is good, um, but for it to be effective, it has to be more permanent. A 1 day boycott is not gonna cut it. 100-day boycott is not gonna cut it. It has to be a permanent shift and move into a different economic system. And that could be community economics. That could be using the community economics for self-sustainment. That could be different principles relating to entrepreneurship, um, and control of resources. There's a lot of ways you can go with it. But as long as we are dependent on the system for sustainment, resources, food, water, shelter, um, the things we like to buy, to the comforts of life. As long as we keep doing that, we have to play by their rules. We set up our own system, self-sustaining system. We write our own rules. Okay, so if economically we want to do something, let's do something like that. Politically, if we want to do something politically, all these marches, there's marches scheduled today, downtown. There's been marches all over the country. let's march to the, where are we marching to? Let's march to the the city councilman's office. We need to march to the mayor's office. We need to march to city hall. If we want to, we need to probably go to the state capitol, probably in another city maybe. But let's go when these people are making decisions, and have our voice be heard. That is a strategic, intentional way of doing things. And then on the back end, you hold them accountable. Um, the first fundamental rule of civic engagement is the people are the boss. The government works for us. So if we say this is how we want it, we get enough of us together, become a collective voice, and we tell them this is how we want it, then that's how we want it, and that's how it is. And there's no second guessing it. That's it. That's it. It's just whatever we want to do, but we need the numbers, and we need cohesion. We need to be intentional. Intentionality is very important when it comes to these kind of actions. And so we can go the political route. Because public servants, the senators and the city councilmen, et cetera, governors, of course, these people determine how public funds are spent and how resources are allocated, and what laws go on the books and what laws don't, what laws get enforced, what laws get emphasized, what laws get regulated, what laws really don't. All that is kind of set in motion in the culture of that is set at the political level. So because lobbyists and big business are controlling the politicians, that is why the laws and the regulations are in favor of the big businesses right now, because the people's voice is not being heard. But the power of the people exceeds the power of the dollar. No matter what the lobbyists pay the politicians, does not matter if you have enough public participation, if you have enough civic engagement, because we control the office itself. Period. Who goes in, who comes out, what they do while they're in there. But if we're not paying attention and we're not exercising that power, then someone else can exercise that power. And that's what's happening right now. So if we want to do the political thing, we can, but it requires being intentional, right? Intentional. So this is just a general thing, a general video with general solutions. There are many more specific things that unfold and are included underneath political and economic solutions. But really, one of the most simple and effective solutions that we can really have or create is to improve the decisions that we make in our own lives. Be that example. Live with respect, live with righteousness, live with some sense of values. Live according to some kind of code where you do the right thing for the right reasons, and be that example, be that model of that behavior in the world, in society, and don't compromise your integrity. That is a very powerful mechanism for social change, because people see that and they will emulate that. And once that energy starts to grow, you hit that tipping point, and then that's when you switch. That's when the culture and the whole society shifts. And if you're not like that, then you're looked at as the outcast. Like, why are you not righteous? But in order to do that, it's one person at a time. This is a slow, long game. It's one person at a time. Starting with you, starting with me. So do that. So that's about it. Don't put yourself in any unnecessary, dangerous situations out there. Stay safe, stay smart. Because the beast don't play fair. The beast does not play fair at all. So you can't expect to get anything fair from that. They play by their own set of rules, and just certain things are just not to your advantage. Certain things are not to our advantage. Violent confrontation with a small group of people against the government is not in anybody's best interest. But as the people, once we're 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, a million, 10 million deep, running up on City Hall, you don't need guns. You don't need guns. You got a million people working with one mind, with one intention. You don't need guns. You don't need any kind of violence. You go in, you say what you want, and that's it. So, food for thought to the people. Um, just remember, I don't have the power. You don't have the power. Only we have the power together. You know. So let's get them together. Make some moves. Peace.